Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Marvel Plus podcast, the show where we talk the Marvel shows on Disney Plus and how they connect to the MCU. My name is Bret, aka Enigma911, and you can check out this podcast exclusively. Well, actually, you can check it out live over on twitch.tv/Enigma911 every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can join the chat if you're a sub over there. If you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. It's over on YouTube. Just search Enigma911 where it's posted on Mondays at 12 noon Eastern, so you can check it out over there. Let us know what you think of the episodes in the comments below, and we'll try and get to them next episode. But yes, today we were talking about What If Episode 4, What If Doctor Strange had lost his heart instead of his hands? Interesting title. Now, let's get right into the summary. I don't know. This was a weird one. We've kind of been on an upswing, in my opinion, with episode 2, with episode 3 of kind of telling more unique stories. I keep going back to it, but episode 1 was more point to point with the first Avenger, the Captain America movie, which was fine, but kind of led to some pacing issues, I thought. 2 and 3 with the more unique stories I thought were better. This one follows the tale of a unique story, but for some reason this one felt off or like different. I don't know, not super invested into it. But so like I said, what if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands? So we're going to start this episode off with Doctor Strange going on a date, picking up Christine. What was her last name? Dr. Christine Palmer, which I believe we saw in the Doctor Strange film. I don't remember the actress's name. So they're going on a date. I was like, okay, obviously this isn't part of the film. And we get into the car and we see that he's driving, the highway along the water. And I was like, oh, now this title makes a whole lot more sense. It's not his physical heart that he's losing here. He's going to be losing Christine. So, scene's going to play out just like the movie. He's going to try and go around the truck. Unfortunately, that is not the correct option to do, and he's going to crash his car. And unfortunately, Christine will pass away because of this. From there, where the Doctor Strange movie would have taken place, those events are still going to roll out the same. He's still going to go try and find answers with his training at with the Ancient One. So we get all the same events. Still defeats Dormammu by doing the time loop. He's very obsessed with the Eye of Agamotto and the time aspects of it, and was really studying that. But he's always got this lingering thought over his head about Christine, and he wants to fix that. So, Wong is concerned with him, doesn't want him to do anything reckless. Stevens decides to go back and try it and fix it. He's able to time travel back to the moment that he wants to. He's back to the date pickup. So he's trying it again. Events all take place. He makes the joke that he knows she's going to make. And he, this time, smartly uses his blinker to, signal he's going to go over to the next lane. Doesn't get the opportunity to, because obviously the oncoming traffic. So he, plays it safe. Not going to be stupid and reckless with my driving, and decides to wait. And they get rear-ended by, presumably, a drunk driver. And not going to lie, holy crap, I jumped out of my seat when that happened. Car crash still happens. Same results. Christine unfortunately passes away, and yes, they are now in the loop. They are in Groundhog Day. So yeah, there's the trouble here. So we are then going to get a montage afterwards where Steven's going to keep rewinding, keep trying this over and over and over again, and it's all going to lead to essentially the same result. I think the first one afterwards, they get T-boned by a truck because they decide to go a different route. They went to a restaurant instead of going to the award ceremony, and there was a robber who shot up the place. There was many different routes. I think she drove at one point, maybe for the last one. And No, it wasn't the last one. So one, she drives and they still get in the car crash, still get rear-ended the same exact way. The very last one, he decides to stand her up on the date, and she still dies. I think there was a shooting, they said, on the news station. I don't remember what it was. But essentially, she's going to die no matter what. And he can't... it's affecting him. It's not great. So there was one... Maybe the shooting wasn't the last one. Maybe the rear ending where she was driving, he finally accepted like this was the fate, because that would make sense for where we pick up. Sorcerer Supreme is going to finally show up at the crash site before he rewinds again, or is like, he's dealing with, obviously, he can't fix it. Sorcerer Supreme is going to show up, and apparently this is an absolute point in time. This moment cannot be changed. If it is changed, the universe essentially is going to cease to exist. As they were saying it, I understand what the Ancient One was saying, but it's really confusing because we got the whole multiverse thing going on right now, right? This event with him taking Christine didn't happen in the movie. I'm guessing because it's a multiverse, like this multiverse strand, if you want to think of it that way. That specific one, this is the absolute point. It's not like an absolute point for across all multiverses. But yeah, in the Doctor Strange movie or film, he went by himself. I think he meets Christine there. Or that was the intention for his award ceremony, whatever the hell it was. And then he still has the car crash, and that's when we see him cripple his hands. So, anyways, absolute point. Has to happen, or else the universe is going to cease to exist, essentially. So yeah, Steven hears this, but is so... not conflicted, there's a better word for this, so consumed by this that he's trying to find more power in order to change it, and he's decided to take this darker route. And the Ancient One tries to warn him, like, by taking this path of darkness, you're going to end this reality. Strange runs away after the Ancient One tries to stop him. He gets away. We see him teleport himself or transport himself to I think it was like a jungled area. He seems very confused, but he's woken up by a man. I was wondering who this guy is. Later we'll learn on, but my thoughts were, oh, this is Baron Mordo, excuse me. But no, that would not make sense if this is the after the film stuff. I guess at this point in time, this is directly after the car crash, so it could have been Mordo. But I was also thinking maybe it was Dr. Voodoo, I think is his name. But it ends up not being either, though. So no fun little cameo there from other Marvel characters. So we know Strange has studied a lot about time to deal with the Eye of Agamotto and go from there for the time travel initially. He's trying to find some lost library. I think it was Castiglione or something like that. He's trying to find this lost library to see if he can seek out any more information about time and how to change the events. He finds these ruins with the help of this gentleman. I think his name was Obey. Yeah. He's like a protector for it. And there's spells set up as a defense mechanism in the ruins. And eventually Obey's going to kind of take him in. Big ass library, the cherry blossom tree in the center. Looks really pretty. So he's going through all these books trying to figure out time manipulation stuff. And he finds out that he needs more power, essentially, in him to do this. And the way he's going to tackle it is he's going to absorb powers from other beings. Okay, interesting. So the one he starts off with is a giant squid tentacle monster. I don't know if this is the same one as in the Captain Carter episode with Hydra that was, trying to summon as their puppet, whatever the hell it is. So could have been Schumer Gorath. I know he's got some history in the Doctor Strange universe, but we don't get any further information about the squid thing. Squid's too powerful for him. He can't handle it. And he doesn't succeed in that attempt. So Obey helps him out, I think, afterwards and try to kind of restores him back to health, and notes there's a fine line between devotion and delusion, and the latter can shatter your mind if you kind of invest too much into it. So he's still focused on this after recouping, taking the power from other beings. So he decides to start smaller, and we see a montage of different characters and creatures that he is going to essentially consume their soul, consume their power, however you want to think about it. Starts off with a little lawn gnome creature, then goes to a bug and some other beasts. As he's absorbing the beasts, we see some physical appearances change in him. So like if it's a dragon, he'll get horns or wings for a little while. He'll become that, and then he'll kind of go back to his normal form. So yeah, we kind of see him, become more obsessed with this and see the power grow within him. Then we get a really odd thing happen. We have our first breaking of this separation of the Watcher. The Watcher shows up in this episode, other than the intro, and notes what is happening. The Watcher comes in for the first time saying it's no use, and he could intervene, but he can't. Like, he's not supposed to. Whatever ruling power the Watcher has, or whoever controls the Watchers, I don't remember the hierarchy or whatever. But Strange kind of notes this, like someone's talking, and then kind of blows it off. Thought that was odd that the Watcher decides to lean into this. Now, in the comics, this has happened before, where the Watchers, I don't know if it's a specific Watcher, or like that wall will be broken down that they're not supposed to do. The Original Sin comic book storyline kind of deals with that, where someone actually killed the Watcher. But it's not. This is the first time we're seeing this in the series, that the Watcher is actively breaking that wall between him and what we see is happening for these characters. We build up with all these creatures. We finally take on the octopus thing. Strange wins. Yippee. Okay, cool. While we're getting this montage, or after we get this montage, we actually see that these events have been taking place over a period of time. It's not like a quick normal montage or like it was a training segment. No, this has been happening for, I think they said not centuries, but like years and years. And unfortunately, because of that, now Obey is dying. He's dying of age. And Strange has been very connected to this man, and wants to save him. And he's like, no, this is how things are supposed to be, So Obey mentions that you can't fully do this and save her without you're only half a man. And we get revealed to us that he's not the only Doctor Strange in this universe. Okay. Question mark. So I was wondering if this was due to him traveling back in time. Like if maybe at some point just there was two Stranges in the same universe and then one went one way. Turns out that the Sorcerer Supreme separated this Doctor Strange into two, if I'm understanding this correctly. Sent this one into two, and the second Doctor Strange, the good Doctor Strange, decided at that moment and point before the time travel of the evil Doctor Strange that he was not going to do the initial time travel to try and save Christine, etc., etc. So we have the two Doctor Stranges. So it's going to start getting even more confusing, so I apologize. So, our good Doctor Strange gets a message after this point of putting down the eye and going to Wong, or going to hang out with Wong. He gets like an astral projection from the Sorcerer Supreme. Now, she's been dead, so this is something she set up kind of beforehand. Sends an impression to him saying that this timeline, she's got the warning. She split the timeline during their fight. He ran away. So, good Doctor Strange needs to stop bad Doctor Strange, or else this timeline universe ceases to exist. Great. Cool. So Wong's trying to play catch-up now, trying to help out Doctor Strange best he can. Tries to play catch-up, finally gets caught up on the situation, gives him a spell of Ashanti, which is like a protection spell for all this. After he gets this spell, our good Doctor Strange gets sucked into a portal by evil Doctor Strange to bring him to him. So, seems like he's trapped in a barrier, and as he's in this barrier, we see in the shadows there's like this big chimera creature kind of rumbling around. As it gets closer, it reveals itself to be evil Doctor Strange, and this man is really looking out of shapes. He's all skinny, like really pale skin tone, dark eyes. He's got like more of a purplish dark tones, a costume. He's trying to convince good Doctor Strange that they need to do this. So, not gonna happen, blah blah blah. It was Centuries. Okay, Centuries doing this work, so I don't know how Obey lived for how long or whatever, but it was centuries of work that he's been doing to try and bring Christine back. The magic takes its toll on you, exactly. Like, he was just, this was his life. This was all he really did. So they travel back to the car crash. We get the big magic fight, pew pew pew, doing their spells, whatever. And as they're fighting, evil Doctor Strange is kind of transforming a little bit here and there into the beast that he has absorbed their power from. So we kind of see that. The Capes at one point decide to fight each other, which was kind of cool. The Vishanti protection spell was working pretty well against the spells that evil Doctor Strange was casting onto good Doctor Strange. So the Capes are going at it. Good Doctor Strange at one point is in danger of being eliminated or absorbed, whatever we want to call it. Good Doctor Strange's cape is going to make the save. He's going to wrap around the forearms and hands of evil Doctor Strange. Hopefully you guys are still keeping track. Evil Doctor Strange then decides to burn through that cape and rip it apart. So R.I.P. Cape, we loved you, but you're gone. So we get that. Our good Doctor Strange is going to get rid of evil Doctor Strange with one last spell. Whew, we did it. Or did we? Whew, gets pulled down to a shadow realm like Yu-Gi-Oh! After thinking he defeated evil Doctor Strange. He's getting like a memory now. Our good Doctor Strange is kind of getting a memory now of Christine. How they cared for each other, you know, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And it turns out that it's evil Doctor Strange trying to manipulate him and coerce him into, you know, his plan. They're both fighting in this shadow area. Evil Doctor Strange gets the advantage. Simply magic marker smudges off apparently the protection spell. That was easy. And absorbs the good Doctor Strange. Okay, swell. Evil Doctor Strange just fucking everything up. One more time, he attempts the time loop to save Christine. They're at the car crash still. He does this, his hocus pocus magic. Big explosion happens. And we see Christine is now alive and crawling out of the car, something like that. Because of all the power output that Strange has just done, he now looks like a hideous-ass monster. So Christine's kind of scared now. She's coming back. She doesn't know what's going on. And obviously sees this big monster right there. I don't remember if Strange reverts back to his old self or if he stays the monster form. But he finally gets through to her that, like, I'm Stephen Strange. You know, I've saved you. This is, you know, what I was trying to do this whole time. I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. And we see the world around them is essentially melting. Everything's kind of liquefying and kind of floating off into space, and people are dying, essentially. Strange has recognized that the warnings of the Ancient One and our good Doctor Strange weren't lies. And he's trying to stop time from collapsing. And there's no way he's going to be able to do this. He sees the Watcher. Again, we're breaking this. He sees the Watcher floating above, outside of this universe, almost like he's looking into a box. And he's calling out for help. Please stop this. This isn't what I intended to do. I'm so sorry, etc., etc. And the Watcher says he can't interfere. Just simple as that. Like, you were told, like, this was not the right thing to do. I can't interfere. I'm sorry. And we see the universe dissipate. Strange is going to make this kind of protective bubble for himself and Christine for at least a little longer. Christine will then fade away and melt away, and we essentially see Strange dealing with these consequences and crying, and then the fades to the end. So that universe was destroyed. And that's the end of the episode. Interesting story we decided to tell. I guess the purpose of this episode was essentially to show how dangerous the magic side of things can be. Now, from other Disney Plus series, we've seen that with Wanda. We saw that with WandaVision. She was so consumed by her devotion that it turned into delusion of trying to get Vision back. We saw her torture essentially a whole town to kind of play make-believe for herself. I guess that was just trying to, like, show that the more dangers. And, like, there was other things, too, that we've seen, like Baron Mordo in the Doctor Strange film becomes so dedicated to it that he decides, you guys aren't doing it right. I have to do my own thing, and he's eventually going to be evil. And then Mads Mikkelsen's character, which I'm blanking on the name in the Doctor Strange film, but obviously he was obsessed with the dark magic. So I guess this was just showing another side of that. And unfortunately how those events took place. Now, in the 3 episodes prior to this that we've gotten some sort of open-endedness of, like, this story could continue. As far as I can tell, this story is done. Obviously, the universe is wiped. My only question or potential for this continuing would be that protective bubble that Strange has locked himself into. I don't remember, I could be remembering wrong, I don't remember if he melted away after making that barrier for himself. Because technically, is he part of that universe with the time travel thing? So that would be maybe my potential for following up. But then, the question is, where does he go from here? Like, he can't, unless he travels to another universe or time, okay. But then what's his motivation? Like, he's already tried this thing with Christine, trying to bring her back, and now obviously we see the results of that, everything falling apart. So I don't know if you follow this up. And granted, they may not follow any of these up. I'm just saying, like, where the episode ended, you have potential. You have the potential with episode 1 with Captain Carter being in present day. You have the potential with episode 2 with Star-Lord and Ego being together. Peter Quill and Ego being together. And you have the potential with episode 3 with the new Avengers, Captain Marvel and Captain America, being recruited by Fury and trying to take down Loki from there. So yeah, we'll have to see. Overall, episode was okay. I never felt... I didn't feel as invested as episode 2 and 3, and maybe it was the fact that we're following this quote-unquote evil character, or this character that's, struggling a lot and not doing necessarily the right thing that they should be doing. And, I can understand why they would want to tell a story like that. Like, this is a character who thinks they're doing the right thing, but ultimately they're not. And you got to kind of get that character growth. It's a different way to get that character growth. And, we've seen that. You could see that in any movie, but it's not the film or the show's main focus isn't on that character. They're focusing on a protagonist. Meanwhile, we see the actions of the antagonist, and then at the end of the movie, the antagonist sometimes realizes the fault in their ways. Hopefully that makes sense. But like they come to that sense of like, oh, this wasn't the right thing to do. So it's just interesting to have this focus on the antagonist the whole time, and then the protagonist of being good Doctor Strange coming in later, but essentially failing pretty quickly in the end. So, weird one. I could definitely see how this won't be everybody's cup of tea. If you did like it, cool. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, it was an interesting episode. I wouldn't rank it high so far out of the ones that we have gotten. But yeah, that was episode 4. Hope you guys liked it. If you didn't, let me know what you didn't like about it. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a chat. But this has been another episode of the Marvel Plus podcast. My name is Bret, aka Enigma911, and you can catch this podcast live over on twitch.tv/Enigma911 every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can join the chat if you're a subscriber over there. We'd love to have you in on the conversation. If you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. You can find it the very next day over on YouTube. Just search Enigma911, where it's posted at 12 noon Eastern. Check it out over there. Let me know in the comments section below what you think of the show, what you thought of the episode, and maybe I'll acknowledge it next episode. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out today. If you're watching this on YouTube and you like the Shang-Chi movie, go check out that video. Should be posted the same day or close to, so you can go check out my thoughts on that film. But yeah, appreciate everybody hanging out today. Appreciate everybody watching, giving it a listen, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care.